Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here. If you are new, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. I'm getting ready to go into my weekly check-in. And if you're a subscriber, you are here for the weekly check-in and welcome. I am excited to have you here too. We're going to jump in. I'm going to go through and show you all my expenses for the week. We are on week 3, the 16th through the 22nd, and we've been spending like we usually do. Nothing's really changed much. We've had a lot of spending and we just enjoy spending. So this is what we do. But I have a budget for how we spend and we usually stay pretty close within that budget. So I'm excited to get into that. It was a month of birthdays. My birthday was here on the 5th. My husband was here on the 16th. And we've been going out to dinner and just kind of spending time together, and it's been a lot of fun. So I will show you all the spending for our birthday this time period, and we'll get started. Before I go in, we are doing a weekly check-in. So this is my transaction log for the weekly check-in. It's where I log all my transactions for groceries and household and restaurants, miscellaneous, gasoline, and I color code them, and I'll get to that in a second. I also keep a transaction log for all this, but what I love about this calendar that the transaction log does not show me is where I'm spending the most. Is it on the weekends? Is it in the middle of the week? What is my spending pattern? So I can budget appropriately and make sure I don't spend too much on one day, needing it for another day. So I'm really liking seeing how this turns out and what it's telling me. The best thing about a budget is what it can tell you and how you can either change it for the better or improve if you're trying not to spend as much, or where you can relax a little because you have a little more freedom to spend. And that's what a budget does for you. It is so flexible, it's so versatile, and I absolutely love budgeting. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to dive right in. Give me 1 second. I'm going to zoom you guys in and then we'll get started. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go over exactly how I budget, and this way if you're new and you've not done this before, hopefully this will all make sense. So I have 4 categories here, and these 4 categories are my grocery household category, my restaurant category, my miscellaneous, and gasoline. Now I put my grocery household together in one category because I track based on how I spend. And how I spend is I buy all my groceries and household in the same store. I don't split it up. I don't buy it in different stores. So I don't have to separate my receipts. And that's why it's all in one section. So let's go down here to the bottom where the 16th is. And that'll be the beginning of our transactions that we are going to budget for. So I am going to add up all our grocery transactions. You're going to see some check marks here because I have tried to film this video 4 or 5 times already and I haven't gotten past restaurants yet. So I'm hoping this is the one. Here we go. So Food Line is our first grocery one. It's this pink highlighter right here. So I'm going to put that amount in, which is $25.86. I'm going to slide the calendar over so that I can show you the rest of the transactions. Here we go. So next transaction is this 23.88. Cannot talk. 23.88. And then I have this $12.81. This is Dollar General. I just went next door. It's in walking distance from my house to get some extra stuff for home group. I got some snacks that night and everything. It was a lot of fun. And we just love home group at our house every Tuesday. So I wanted to get some supplies. And then the next grocery item here is this Tide from Amazon. Now, normally I would buy Tide at the grocery store. Why don't you just grab it there? It's Tide Pods. I don't because half the time depending on what grocery store I go to, they're on lockdown and they have security things around them. And I don't want to deal with that when I go to the checkout, especially when most places are making you self-checkout. You don't have a cashier, you don't have a bagger, you got to do it all yourself. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So yeah, that's why I order it. It comes to my door. I don't have to deal with the security things on it and I'm done. So that's pretty good. So the next thing I have here is 56 And here we go. So my groceries is $136.96, and I've already started a list. So what I'm going to do is write down the amount for each category so I don't have to flip back and forth with the weekly check-in on the other page. So that is checked and ready. Grocery household. Now we're going to do miscellaneous. Not miscellaneous, restaurant. So my restaurants were a little spendy, but we've been celebrating birthdays, so that's why they've been all a little spendy, and that's okay. $18.26. My husband and my son went to Chick-fil-A at the mall. They were at the mall shopping. It was his birthday, so they were there. We had pizza that night. $30.39. And then my husband and I had a date night for both of our birthdays at the Shoreline Grill in Virginia Beach. And it was a pretty decent place. It's just a diner on the beach in one of the hotels, and we got to see the ocean, and we got to do a little shopping while we were there, things like that. So let's see, that's all it is for restaurants on those 2 days. Let's go over here and see what we got. So that's not grocery or not restaurant. Here we go. Okay, so our next spending item is Chick-fil-A here. And that is just a Tuesday night thing. I'm going to add the Chick-fil-A. It's $32.25. And I usually get on Tuesday nights. It's what the kids want. Sometimes we get Red Robin instead, which is a lot pricier, and have it delivered. But they just love chicken. So, just love Chick-fil-A. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to add Arby's. My husband and I had lunch that day, and I forgot that we were picking up dinner as well. So yeah, that was a mistake. We were so stuffed that day. Too much out to eat. Taco Bell was on Wednesday. $16.81. And then I'm going to add one more over here, which is Simple Greek, which is a wonderful little restaurant. $23.42. Hopefully I added. Yep, there we go. And with just simple Greek food, and just really nice and easy, and just really enjoy going there. My husband went to Greece a lot, and the food there is very close to what he got served on the street vendors there, and the experience he had over there in the restaurant. So he likes going there and kind of reflecting back on the times he was over in Greece without me. Being in the Navy, you get to go to these places without your spouse all the time, so that's okay. I'm not upset. So here we go. Miscellaneous is the next kind of category. I'm having trouble speaking today. Very sorry about that. So miscellaneous. Let's see. Well, we did the Arby's. I'm going to make sure I get everything checked off. Blue. And then Simple Greek. There we go. And Taco Bell. Because I never remember to check off as I'm going along. I'm hoping to today, and I'm finally caught up with what I did earlier and already checked off. Oh, what a day. So, miscellaneous, everything in green. So that's usually Amazon stuff or just random stuff that we decide to do throughout the week, or things that we randomly get. So $6.99 was a movie we ordered on Amazon Prime. We don't get a lot of movies, but one of my favorite characters growing up was Scooby-Doo. And so we got the new Scooby Halloween movie because I like Halloween and all that stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. We went pumpkin picking at the pumpkin farm, spent $37.55, and then I had Dollar Tree. I picked up some little bags to put candy in for trick-or-treaters. I got 60, but I might go back and get some more. I'm not sure how many trick-or-treaters I'm going to have. Dollar Tree, and then Sensations t-shirts. That was awesome. I went and picked up long sleeve t-shirts at the beach on our night out at the Shoreline Grill, and that was a lot of fun. I got like 4 t-shirts for like $7-8 each, and it was awesome. And that's my winter wardrobe. So there you go. Virginia Beach, we had to pay for parking. It was $4 at the parking garage. It's just we're comfortable parking there, and it feels safe, so that's why we do it. $21.81 was Target. And I bought a couple items there. One of them was a curtain rod. My son needed a new curtain rod for his room to hang his curtain up. And then something else that I got there. And I think it was like a packet of water for home group night. I usually buy those little bottles of water. They're about like 8 ounces or something like that, about that tall. And they can drink on that while they're there. The next thing was the 940. So 9 plus 940. Oh, my allergy and asthma. And the reason I did that under miscellaneous, normally I budget it as a bill and I pay $100 and that covers my allergy shots for several months. I didn't have $100 at the time in my account. Well, I did, but I wasn't sure. So I decided I'm just going to put it under miscellaneous and just do my shots like that one time. And that's the best thing about budgeting, because when you need to have a transaction and you need the money for it, but you can't, or you don't have a category, or you have categories for it and you're just not using it the way you normally do because you wanted to use the money like I wanted to in miscellaneous, then it's just easy to make that change. You just put it under miscellaneous and nobody cares why. As long as you know why, that's all that really matters. So there's that. And then Amazon for $7.41 there. So let's equal all that up. And yes, I just checked my notes. My numbers match. So my miscellaneous is $129.52. So I'm going to check those off real quick. I'm just going all the way across. I know I'm not on camera for all of this, but there you go. And now we're just going to do the gasoline. So the gasoline, I only have 2 gas transactions and they're kind of all right here. So the first one is right here, the Exxon gas. That was my gas for my vehicle. I have an Armada. That's not the right amount. And so it takes quite a bit of gas. So it's $39.18. And then my husband needed to fill up his tank. As you can tell, we're driving a little bit more because we actually have 4 transactions for gas this month and not just the 2. So my husband went to Wawa and got gas the other day. So I'm going to add that, $24.69. And I'm going to check that off. And I'm going to go over here and check this one off. And yes, that was what we spent in gas this week. So $63.87. All right, now that I have all my numbers here, I'm going to go and I'm going to go ahead and flip here to my weekly check-in. And you can see that here at the top. I'm not going to zoom back out yet because I want to go ahead and get into the numbers, but you can see I was kind of over here. I've been over here. Let's see where I'm at this week. Now, my numbers here matched my transaction log when I started the new week. So even though I can see the numbers day by day, and the numbers are actually for paycheck to paycheck, so the first half of the numbers were here for this paycheck, second half of the numbers were here on this paycheck, not necessarily week to week. So it'll go over and under many different ways, but you know, it still stays within a budgeting category. And it stays within the budget based on the paycheck time period, not necessarily the weekly time period. I just try to budget per week to get in control of my spending. So, and I'm actually just going to take this page out because I hate writing on the rings, which is why I love a ring binder, because, oh my gosh, I can just take the page out and here we go. How cool is that? So here we are. We're going to take our spending numbers, which is right here. 136.96. All right. And then that was the grocery household. Now we only budgeted 63 because I'm trying to stay within $1,000. So I'm definitely going to be over budget in this number, but I'm definitely going to be over budget in the restaurant because I'm a little bit over there. 208.43. And then my miscellaneous was under, which is really good, 129.52. And gasoline was way under. And I over budget for gasoline because I just don't know how often my husband needs to drive for work. And I'm afraid not to keep, because if he works from home mostly. Right now he's away traveling on business. with the Navy. So, you know, he's been driving a little more back and forth to the office and stuff and doing his job, but his car's parked right now, so he doesn't have to go anywhere because he's traveling. But I just don't know. I just don't know with what's going on and when he's going to drive and how much we're going to spend. I haven't been taking the kids to school, which is consistently most of my driving, and where our gas money went to. And starting in November 16th, that week, my son will be 2 days a week on campus in school. So I don't know. We're going to have to spend more anyway. So that's why I kind of keep it pretty high. And if we don't need it for that month, then we don't need it. It's fine. So let's go through and subtract these numbers out. I'm going to take this out of the way. So grocery household, I had budgeted the amount of $63.79. I'm going to subtract out what I actually spent, which is $136.96. So I am negative $73.17. Oops, I need to find my red pen because I'm in the negatives. Negative 17. All right. Now I have 153.94 in restaurants, and I'm going to subtract the 208.43. We knew we were going to go over budget just because it was our birthday and we wanted to go out to dinner and kind of have a good night. We knew, and this is about the cost of one dinner out, extra than we normally would, or we probably would have stayed in budget. And it was just because we were celebrating our birthday, which I'm okay with. So now I have 160.21 from miscellaneous that I put in the budget, and I only used 129.52, which is very lucky because I almost spent like $50. And unfortunately, they didn't have what I wanted in stock, so I couldn't spend it, which was fortunate for my budget, but unfortunate for my desire to spend. So I have $30 here. And then gasoline, so 181.92 minus the 63.87. That gives us 118.05. So I'm wondering how this balance is going to turn out. So since I already have this number here, I'm going to start with the positives. 118.05 plus 130.69 minus 54.49, and then minus 73.17. And that gives us 21.08 in the positive. That is awesome. So I did not go over budget for the week in all my categories. Apparently I spent the leftover gas money, and that's okay because yeah, that's okay because I knew I was going to do it. I can't stop myself. We'll see if I get better. And I actually have a new strategy for next month on how I'm going to do it, as far as how I budget. Instead of by the day, I'm going to budget by $300 on the first week for grocery household, $300 for, especially grocery household, because that's where I'm over the most, $300 for the first week, the second week, and then I think $200 and $200 or something like that. I'm definitely going to change up my strategy so I'm not over budget in my categories and borrowing from the next week, because it'll match my pay periods a little bit better. So I really like that. So here we go. We're going to total up our spending, $136.96 plus $208.43 plus $129.52 plus $63.87. And we spent $538.78. I'm going to subtract this number, or actually I'll just, I'll add, I don't know, I'm going to start over. So I'm going to take this number, 559.86, and I'm going to subtract the 538.78, and guess what? They match. Excellent. So my numbers are adding up. So what we're going to do is write our categories. So here we go. I'm going to take this number here, this negative 73.17. I'm going to add that to my current budget for the week 4 of grocery household, the last week in October. So I'm going to take the number I budgeted for this week, which was $290, and I'm going to subtract that number out, 73.17. And that gives me $216.83 for the last week of October. So I want to write that down here, 216.83. And then restaurants, same thing. I'm going to take that negative number and include it in the last week of restaurants budget, and that was going to be $188, and we're going to subtract out $54.49, and that gives us $133.51. And then miscellaneous, now I can add this number, I'm going to bring it down, 30.69 plus my budget amount, which is $160. And that gives us $190.69. All right, and then I need to add the $118.05 plus the gas for the week. Oh, there was no adding because I did $125 per time I got it. Yeah, so I just move over the 118. There we go. I didn't budget anything extra because I knew it would be enough to cover for this half of the budget. So there we go. I am done. Not exactly. I still got to total this up. So 216.83 plus 133.51 plus 190.69 plus 118.05 equals, well, it's a lot of money for the end of the month, $659.08. So this is plenty of money for me to get Halloween candy, and for the next 7 days, that's more than enough money. So I think we've done really well, and I've learned a lot about my budget. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out real quick, so give me 1 second there. So yeah, I really think things went well with this budget. I still have plenty of money for the end of the month. It's almost $660, which is really good. And even though I was over in categories and I was borrowing from the next week, this was paycheck 2 and this was paycheck 3, which I had plenty of money for. Yeah, I still have plenty of money left over, so I'm really happy with that. I think the new budget for next month, where I go 300 for groceries here, 300 groceries there, and 200 and 200 or something along those lines, will keep me from having negative numbers, because nobody likes seeing negative numbers. And it will really reflect the true budget I am actually working with in the weeks that I spend, because as you can see, I spend 300 very easily at the beginning of the month, and not so much in the third week, and the fourth week I usually do pretty good as well. It's the beginning of the month where I replenish and restock a lot of things, and so I need it more in the beginning and less at the end. So I've noticed that trend, and I really like that. So yeah, here we go. Everything's checked off. We're doing good and good. So that is my weekly check-in. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that if you have any questions, please put it in the comments below. And I hope you have an amazing and blessed day.